Hey, it's Adele from Let's Get Inkie, and for some reason I didn't wave in this video. I always wave at the start, but I didn't in this one, so hi, how you doing? This part I would usually cut out of the video and I would just do it behind the camera, but I wanted to show you how I prep sometimes my pages when I'm not really sure what I'm doing with them and I think I might be using a lot of wet media on them. Turns out I didn't need to do this, but I did it anyway. Sometimes when I'm working in my Dilutions Creative Journal, I like to put a little bit of masking tape down the center of the spine. I just find that if I'm using watercolor or something drippy and wet and juicy, it helps it not bleed through to some of the other pages through the signatures. So that's a bit of a tip if you have that problem. I also like to gesso the pages because I don't always gesso, but I quite often do when I think that I'm going to have some of the background peeking through. Turns out I didn't in this one, but it's always nice to be prepared. I was just using some Liquitex white gesso there. So then I had this page on the right hand side and I must have used orange paint on a different project and had some left over, and I just slapped it in my art journal. And it was bothering me that it was only on one side of the page, and so I got the inspiration for some orange. It's not my usual go-to color, but I decided to get inspired by it and have a little bit of it poking through. And I went through my ginormous, overflowing Mount Vesuvius Leaning Tower of Pisa box of painted papers and collage items, and I found lots of different painted papers that I'd made with my jelly plate. I was going to say jelly print. With my jelly plate, some book pages that I had slapped some paint on, some stencil experiments, and I just stuck them everywhere using my Liquitex matte gel medium. And then, of course, I always get too many collage items. Don't we all? Do you ever get the perfect amount of items to collage with? Because you are a genius if you could do that, because I always overcompensate. And so rather than putting these tiny little scraps back in, I decided to slap them in my junk journal. So this guy is now finished, and it will have I'll have a flip through towards the end of the year. I think I've already filmed it and it's ready to go. I'm just getting ahead and pre-filming some videos for later in the year. But I'm really glad that it's done because it's so chunky. I definitely put too many pages in this one, but I just couldn't help it. I wanted to put all the pages in. So I'm just filling that all up, and I don't know what I'm doing on this page yet, but at least my background's done and the messy bit's done, and I can come back to it later when I feel like it, or when I feel like creating an art journal page quickly. So that's a great way to use your junk journals or your use it up journals like that. So then I found this image out of a magazine, and I just really liked how dark it was and how much of a strong focal point the photo had with that little window. So I'm just using some more matte gel medium, and I decided to tear the edge just so it looked a little less structured and liney, I guess you could say, to divide the photo from my collage background. I also put some matte gel medium over the top. I just like to do that. It does, of course, because it's matte gel medium, it does make the photo, the glossy magazine image matte, but I was okay with that. So then I've sped this up super speed because it does take a while, of course, to get all of the paint into this stencil. So this stencil, I'm not sure where it's from because it doesn't have the manufacturer on it, and I always throw out my stencil packaging, but it's just a teardrop type design, and I'm just using some black Dilutions paint and a makeup sponge to just pop that through there. I'm not covering up the whole thing. I just want to cover up some of it and leave some of it showing. I love to do this technique with black paint and then use a white gel pen to really make the designs pop. So that's what I'm doing here. I have dried it in between there and made sure it's very, very dry before I use my white Uniball Signo Broad gel pen. and I'm just doing a kind of a variety of solid lines and dashed lines, and you can see how much the white gel pen makes a difference. It really does kind of transform them and make them pop and make them seem more like they're, I don't know, a bit more crisp and like they belong there. So I'm still going, still going. I think I sped this up about 6 times fast, so it does take quite a while to trace around all of these, but I really love the way that it looks. I'll be honest, as you know, orange isn't my go-to. This year I'm really trying to jump out of my comfort zone a little bit sometimes, occasionally, and it is nice to pick just like one design feature that you wouldn't usually do and give it a go. So it could be a color, it could be a type of mixed media, it could be a technique like collage if you've never tried collage before, if you've never tried stenciling before, just to give it a go. And if you don't like it, there's always much more black paint that you can put on top. This little bit here was a piece that I made for one of my Patreon printables last year, I think it was, and I still had the original. That's what happens a lot of the time when I design my my monthly Inkie collections. I often I use the printables, but I don't use the actual originals, and so I found a bit of a stash that I had hidden in a drawer, and so there'll be, if you're one of my patrons, you'll see a lot of the originals pop up over the next few months in different projects. I wanted to kind of overlap the photo, or the magazine image, with my stenciling, and so I thought a little bit of a brush lettered quote would work really well to overlap the gap, the torn edge, so they really do seem like they're connected and like they go together. And then I haven't done this before. Usually when I do like a border to my page or my scrapbook layouts over on my main channel, Inkie Quill, I do a doodly style, and I like to do a doodly style because, well, let's be honest, I can be wonky, and it's purposely meant to look like that, that I can make a bit of a mistake and it doesn't matter. But I must have had my ruler within arm's reach, and I just felt like doing things very straight for this page, not sure why. So then I noticed that the background papers, there was a lot of this like really fluoro pink poking through, but there wasn't anywhere else. And so I just grabbed a Posca paint pen and just doing a bit of mark making, some kind of dots and dashes, and this helps to also kind of fade the stenciling back a little bit. So of course it is going to be the boldest feature, I guess you could say, the boldest part of the page, but it does kind of tame it down just a little bit. Then this is a new color that I got. It's kind of like a pastel orange. Like I said, orange isn't my usual go-to, but I love this color. It's beautiful. And then I just got some yellow as well. Whenever I use yellow as a mark making using the paint pens, I try to do a smaller design, just because I see yellow as a really bright color, and so I prefer to use it in tiny doses and just make it a little bit sprinkly. So then I was trying to look at what this page was missing, and I felt like it needed another hit of white, and so I'm doing my tiniest little sprinkly bits, and I'm just kind of centering it around those main clusters that I've already got happening, and just kind of going in between the different colors. And I love the way that it looks on top of the black teardrop designs from the stenciling. This page came together quite quickly. It probably came together in about 25-ish minutes. So it was a simple one to do. The most time-consuming bit was definitely the stenciling and then outlining all of those little stencily bits. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more art journaling. I'm hoping to have an art journaling video every month over here, and also some more Traveler's Notebooks videos. Let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you'd like to see. I'm thinking of doing another round of journaling by fives. Let me know if you'd like to see that, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye!